I'd like to show off an early chapbook of mine. It was for my intro to creative writing class, where I got to do a little bit of everything: creative nonfiction, fiction writing, and poetry. And this was called A Product of School. And my short story was called Locked Up in Time. And it was just pretty crazy all over the place. And it took the perspective of a narrator who was, in fact, going crazy. And then I actually wrote a poem about the short fiction that I'm going to read as well. And this is where another picture of Bayard Rustin. I wrote a poem about him. And here's a picture of me actually saran wrapped to a bed. And I wrote a creative nonfiction about that piece, which I might put on later. The problem with me putting that up right away is that I probably need to either change names in that creative nonfiction or ask the people who star in it if it's cool if the stories about us are online. It's pretty crazy stuff, the creative nonfiction. It talks about me getting my first and only demerit in high school because I wrote, "Andy sucks my balls," on the chalkboard and then admitted to doing that. And there's three things that happen in that piece. The other two being me and one of my friends decide to moon people in our math class, pulling down our pants, showing our butts. And then the last thing, of course, was me getting saran wrapped to the bed there. But I ended up condensing my rhyming Bayard Rustin poem, and now that I look at it, it's pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and read that here. Bayard Rustin. I hear his heavy-hearted whisper, "My soul is smoke. I'm the clouds floating by on a sunny day in America, where equality shows its elusive form. The weight of hate can hold one down, but I live my life with love, and now my soul flies free." And then the premise behind the short story that I wrote, I think you got, or I already explained the gist a little bit, was just that the narrator is crazy, and he actually killed somebody, and he's taking demands from an inanimate object, which is a stuffed baby chick, and it's really dark, and I hope you enjoy the short piece. It's something really different. But here's a poem that it almost works as a synopsis for the piece, and it's called the same title as the short fiction, Locked Up in Time. Beep, beep, clocks go beep. Disturbed Connor from high school is quite the black sheep. Stop staring at me, he thought, taking pills before school. Nothing unusual for a kid with ruby red graffiti on his little black backpack. Connor heard whining from his sister Ophelia, yelling from mom, grumbling from dad, the blaring of machines, and the demands of the stuffed baby chick, with eyes stitched shut in X's. Amy, Jake, and Chad sat in the back for Ecker's class. Interruptions always came, and the whitecoats didn't get it. Connor thought he was smarter, and wrote in the journal, "Get out of me, get 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 out of me." Amy was a curly, auburn-haired sophomore. Amy was hot. Chad slit her skirt. Jake distracted the bullies. Amy and Connor. Were they meant to be? Amy liked lonely Connor. She was lonely too. They wouldn't have enough time. "They know too much," the chick had said the previous summer, and then the specialist doctor wound up dead. Jake distracted the short white coat, asking for a cig, and Connor threw a rock at their Cadillac so he could get the meds unnoticed. Connor's brain rewound so fast he felt sick. He was in a straitjacket, locked up in darkness.